Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. My name is Ed Heron. The founder of this event, Bascom Lamar Lunsford, was my grandfather. It was a lot of fun to have for a grandfather. When I was here Thursday night, I said a few things about what he was doing 100 years ago. In 1922, he was recording on wax cylinders. And last night, I gave a little talk about what he was doing 130 years ago. He was learning to play the banjo. He was just a kid late in the 1890s. His older brother reached out and gave him instrumental hand up in learning to play the banjo, so that was great. And I was trying to think about what I might say tonight, and I saw something this afternoon that reminded me of what Granddaddy was up to 50 years ago. I came to the Youth Talent this afternoon, Youth Talent Exposition Festival, whatever. It's a Junior Appalachian Musicians Program. And they had it this afternoon. It's from 2 to 4, the Saturday afternoon of the final day of the festival. So put that on your calendars for next year. It's a wonderful event. We see all these kids from 8 to 18, and the talent level, the joy on their faces is really something to behold. But 50 years ago, I was thinking, what was Granddaddy doing 50 years ago? Well, it was his next to last festival. I had been put in charge of being next to him just as a right arm to lean on in case he needed it. And so I walked him into the festival that night and sat with him over in the wings behind the curtains and got a chance to watch him. But his eyes were still clear. His memory was still good. But what I remembered about that night was him watching these young kids. I don't remember who it was, but it was a group of young performers. And the sparkle in Granddaddy's eye was just immense. And it was all he could do to drag himself to the festival that year. He was 91 years old. But that made a distinct impression on me. And I got to see it again this afternoon when these young kids were performing. And I just wanted to tell you that story, let you know the festival's in good hands, our program's in good hands. We've got a lot of wonderful people and wonderful volunteers. I'm ready for the show tonight. What do you say? Yeah. Let's do it. Let's have some fun. I'll introduce our MCs for tonight. John Roden, my good friend John Roden, and my good friend Richard Hurley.
Thank you so much, Ed. Ed, we appreciate you, buddy. I'll tell you what, the family tradition with this festival, from Bascom Lamar Lunsford to the Nortons to the different names that we have here, the Freemans, the Suttons. I mean, we got a bunch, and sure do appreciate that lineage and that tradition. As he said, I'm John Roten. Right here's Richard Hurley, folks. Wonderful, wonderful musician. And pretty good feller, all in the same person. Right?
Thank you, John. You take credit cards or cash? I call him the MC's MC. He's the mentor to the rest of us.
It's going to be another fun night. We got a great lineup for you, but that's what you expect. We're just blessed with so much talent in this Southern Appalachian region, and the opportunity to showcase them here. Right off the bat, I want to say a big thanks to the folks at UNC Asheville. This Lipinski Auditorium is just really, really nice, and a good home for this wonderful, wonderful festival, the oldest festival of its kind in our nation. And that's pretty sweet, pretty sweet. I know Ed was talking about the youth program this afternoon. It's wonderful to have that back. I was noticing last night, I'm a radio man and a radio geek, and WWNC radio came on about 1927, long about the time that this festival got started. WWNC radio started serving Western North Carolina, and off and on through the years has been tied in with this festival for different ways. And that station, along with our other iArt media stations, are really proud to be media sponsors of this event and Shindig on the Green. So I guess it's about time we drug them out and made them start playing some music.
I think that's a great idea, John.
All right. Who was this first?
Well, looks to me like we got Stoney Creek over there, don't we?
kind of hid back there.
Yeah, look at that, Stoney Creek. Yeah, they call them the Stoney Creek Boys. Got George Banks on the banjo. You got Rhiannon Ramsey Jenkins on the fiddle. She's not a boy. Part of the Stoney Creek group there. Lawrence Dillingham on the guitar and vocals. And, of course, one of the original Stoney Creek Boys, Mr. Boyd Black. They're on the old hound dog bass. They've been doing this for about 50 years. Not every one of them for 50 years, but for a long time. 54 years. Let's update this thing. 54 years. Let's make welcome Stoney Creek. That's the way to kick it off. Beth Gunn, Kevin Hamlin, our dancers there. It's always a good way to kick off the folk festival, the 95th version thereof, and Stoney Creek Boys, and gosh, what a good time. What a good time. Well, while we got the band here, we're obviously going to bring up a square dance team here. More specifically, we're going to bring up a group of cloggers. And there's a little difference between clogging and smooth dancing, which I'm sure most of you in the audience know. But you're going to see some evidence of both different styles tonight with a number of different groups that we got on our schedule here, because we got a fantastic show schedule. The Mountain Tradition Cloggers. This youth team was actually started about 2010, over in Haywood County, about 12 years ago, by Paul Cagle and Christy Warren. And both were dancers on the very popular Dixie Darling Cloggers. They've been around a long time. They were inspired by Becky Taylor and Shirley Finger. Christy and Paul began coaching this team as a way to kind of keep the mountain clogging traditions alive with the way it all started and involving families of dancers of all ages. So it's multi-generational, as you'll see with a lot of our groups here tonight. So let's put our hands together and let's thank Stoney Creek back there for being the backup band for the Mountain Tradition Cloggers.
Mountain Tradition Cloggers. Now, Corey Warren and his wife are in there. About half of those dancers were his kids, I think. A bunch, anyway. Oh, that's some kind of fun. Mountain Tradition Cloggers. And, you know, it's wonderful the way our musicians, our dancers, all these wonderful performers are so willing and desire to pass along their talent. And speaking of that, this next young man, how many of you knew what you wanted to do in life when you were 4 years old? When you were 4? Other than eat biscuits and gravy and play, I don't know that there's anything else I wanted to do at 4 years old. But one of these young men on the stage here, Asa Nelson, declared at the ripe old age of 4, "I want to play fiddle, Mama." Well, he does. He entered the jam program in Boone, North Carolina. Plays clawhammer, banjo, guitar, award-winning flatfoot dancer. Just a few of the scholarships. He's won the Wayne Henderson Scholarship, the Houston Caldwell Scholarship, and the Charlotte Folk Society Scholarship to the Swannanoa Gathering. Yes. I've got a list here of accomplishments for this young man that'll take up most of the rest of the night, but we want to listen to him play, don't we? We don't. With him is Josh Goforth. Josh, good to see you. Folks, put your hands together, make them welcome to the Mountain Dance and Folk Festival. Asa Nelson with Josh Goforth.
Thank you. That was one called "Say Old Man, Can You Play the Fiddle?" I learned that one off Josh, and that's a Tommy Hunter tune, so I hear. But I hope I didn't mess it up too bad. I know if I messed up any, that's not because Josh taught me to mess up. That's just me.
You didn't mess it up, man. Sounded great.
Okay, this next one we're going to do is an old Civil War tune called Lorena. you. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Goforth.
Ace is just an awesome student and just one of the nicest young men I've gotten to meet in music. So it's just such an honor to get to be on stage with him. And he and his folks drove all the way down from Boone to be here with us. So I think his parents do deserve a hand for helping drive him down. Even though he can drive himself now, I think. Yeah.
I know, they're just nice like that.
They are.
I just took this fiddle out of the case today. I hadn't played it in a while, so it's been hard to get in tune. Just give me 1 second. This next one we're going to play is called Old Yeller Dog, Trotting Through the Meeting House. Or Old Yeller Dog.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Please. All right. As you can see, Josh can play the banjo too, and I know every other instrument under the sun as well. Amazing piano player. He's playing in the other room. But again, Old Yeller Dog went trotting through the meeting house.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
How about that now, huh? What a duo. Asa Nelson and Josh Goforth. Man. Yeah, Josh was here this afternoon with the youth groups, emceeing that event. Of course, he taught a lot of them too, but those of you maybe who don't know who Josh is, he's from Madison County. He plays tons of different instruments. He's one of the most talented musicians anywhere. Just a great guy, very humble sort of person to go with it. But a great person. We did a CD together. I did some original songs years ago, and I called David Holt. So I'm thinking about doing an album. Who do I talk to? And he said, call Josh Goforth. So Josh played the lead guitar, the rhythm guitar, the bass, the fiddle, the mandolin, and the banjo. Wove them all together. Hey, talk about some talent. To my right, these folks have been here a number of years, and we're always so glad to see them come up here to back up to Asheville. The Waymasters they're a country gospel group of Buncombe County natives. Those guys are all from here originally. But they have been over in Nashville now for some time and just doing some great things, great music. They just achieved the distinction of being the only group. Now, this is really interesting. The only group, now this includes Michael Jackson, Taylor Swift, and Prince, to have 7 #1 singles and 9 top 10s from the same album, Smoky Mountain Gospel Volume 2. Now, folks, that's saying something right there. They were awarded the favorite gospel group, favorite album, and favorite musician at the 2019 Gospel Music Fans Award, and they're just absolutely a talented bunch of guys. And we're just so glad to have them back, and I'm sure they'll introduce themselves, but let's put our hands together for the Waymasters.
1, 2.
Boy, that would have been bad, wouldn't it? Hello?
Is this thing on? Yes.
Yeah, we're hot now.
Through the sunshine and rain, even sorrow and pain, Jesus is still my comfort and guide. For his love comforts me, and his grace will set me free, and someday I shall stand by his side. I am blessed every day that I live. I am blessed when I wake up in the morning till I lay my head to rest. I am blessed, I am blessed. I have shoes for my feet, I have plenty to eat, and a home in heaven by and by. Brothers and sisters on this earth, they are mine by my new birth, and we'll share in that home beyond the skies. I am blessed every day that I live. I am blessed when I wake up in the morning till I lay my head to rest. I am blessed, I am blessed, I am blessed, I am blessed every day that I live. I am blessed when I wake up in the morning till I lay my head to rest. I am blessed, I am blessed.
It's a pleasure to be back here this year. We try to find time in our schedule, which has been busy as we could be, but we always try to find time to come up here and participate in the Mountain Folk and Dance Festival. We're originally from these mountains. Thank you. And, gospel music is a big part of these mountains, and this is where we came from and where we started our career, and we just love the old mountain music. And so I don't take too much time up talking, but that's Tim Reynolds on the end down there. That's the one that just waved at you. Darryl Frizzell, Chewy McMahon, and I'm Tommy Frizzell, and together we make up the Waymasters. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Go ahead.
Oh, Lord, what would I do without your Son? Oh, Lord, I'd be lost without your Son. Every battle I fought and lost, Jesus fought and won. Oh, Lord, what would I do without your Son? I try to walk the narrow way. I try to live for Christ each day. I pray that God will make me strong. But in spite of all I do wrong. Oh Lord,
Oh Lord, what would I do without your Son?
oh Lord,
Oh Lord, I'd be lost without your Son.
every battle
I fought and lost, Jesus fought and won.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh Lord, what would I do without your Son?
they pierced his side,
They pierced his side.
they made him bleed,
They made him bleed.
They hung my Lord,
They hung my Lord between two thieves.
it was a shame,
It was a shame.
it was a crime,
It was a crime.
but he
Gave his precious life to save mine.
Oh Lord,
Oh Lord, what would I do without your Son?
oh Lord,
Oh Lord, I'd be lost without your Son.
every
Battle I fought and lost, Jesus fought and won.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh Lord, what would I do without your Son?
every
Battle I fought and lost, Jesus fought and won.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh Lord, what would I do without your Son?
Ah, yeah.
The Lord told Joshua to go to Jericho and to march 7 times around. He followed safely and obeyed the Lord's command, and the walls came tumbling down.
yes,
Walls came tumbling down. Joshua marched 7 times around.
yes,
Mighty walls came tumbling down, and the walls came tumbling down. If you would trust in the power of the blood, and you hope to wear a crown, just follow safely and obey the Lord's command. Walls of doubt will tumble down.
yes,
Mighty walls came tumbling down. Joshua marched 7 times around.
yes,
Mighty walls came tumbling down, and the walls came tumbling down.
yes,
Mighty walls came tumbling down. Joshua marched 7 times around.
yes,
Mighty walls came tumbling down, and the walls came tumbling down, and the walls came tumbling down, down,
That second song we done there was an old mountain song that Chewy sung, the acapella, and that was done with the Jenkins family. I'm sure some of the old timers around here remember the Jenkins family, and that's where we got that song from. And I hadn't heard from them in years. I'm sure they're still around somewhere. Like to see them again, meet them.
Love will roll the clouds away, turn the darkness into day. Well, I'm so glad I now God is watching over all, and He hears each time we pray. So lift your voice in happy song. Love will roll the clouds away. Love will roll the clouds away. Turn the darkness into day. Well, I'm so glad I now can say, love will roll the clouds away. We'll roll them all away, 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 roll. That's when I lift up my head and He lifts up my heart, and my troubles just all roll away. Well, I can't see the sun with my head to the ground. Tears dim my vision and weigh my heart down. But I found a secret when I knelt to pray. When I lift up my head and He lifts up my heart, and my troubles just all roll away. Well, roll them all away, 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 roll them all away. That's when I lift up my head and He lifts up my heart, and my troubles just all roll away. That's when I lift up my head and He lifts up my heart, and my troubles just all roll away.
I was down, I was discouraged. Every dream I ever had was gone. But through Him I found the courage. Now I've got the strength I need to carry on.
Gone away, gone away. All the troubles in my soul are gone away.
I was lost out in the night, but praise God I saw the light.
And the troubles in my soul are gone away. Gone away, gone away. All the troubles in my soul are gone away.
When I was lost out in the night, but praise God I saw the light.
And the troubles in my soul are gone away.
I was lost out in the night, but praise God I saw the light.
Oh, and the troubles in my soul are gone away.
You, man. Is that it?
We're going to do one more for you and let Chewy play for you. He is a walking miracle, ladies and gentlemen.
Amen.
He had a stroke and a heart attack about 7 months ago. And
about 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, he had a seizure.
2 of them.
Yeah, 2 of them. Was in the hospital for another 4 days. And well, he got out of the hospital. We took out back on the road, right back down to South Alabama, and Tim's been treating him like mother hen. He's been, get up, take your medicine.
It's better take a picture of him.
So we're going to let him play one for you real quick, and we thank the Lord that he is still upright and still playing with us. And
Yeah, y'all pray for him.
Thank you, everybody.
he might look old, but he's not old enough to go through all that.
That was just wrong.
Just over yonder, beyond the river, there is a city of pure delight, where many loved ones are congregating in pomp of victory, in robes of white.
Just over
Over there,
there'll be no
pain to bear, days will ever come. There'll be no crying, there'll be no dying, oh what rejoicing when we get home. There's nothing here, friends, but disappointment. So often we here are left alone, but over yonder hearts will grow fonder, and separation will never come.
just over
over there. Pain to bear. Days will ever come. There'll be no crying, there'll be no dying. Oh, what rejoicing when we get home.
He didn't know he could play a guitar when he had a stroke.
Just over yonder, I'll soon be going to see my Savior upon his throne and hear a welcome ring out through heaven. Oh, weary pilgrim, this is your home. Just over yonder, there'll be no pain to bear. Days will ever come. There'll be no crying, there'll be no dying. Oh, what rejoicing when we get home. Just over there, there'll be no pain to bear. No lonely days will ever come. There'll be no crying, there'll be no dying. Oh, what rejoicing when we get home. On the horizon, beyond the sunset, I see a city with streets of gold. Soon I'll be going to that fair city to see myself and never grow old.
And in that city, I'll have a mansion for a home. Golden heart
to play, crown into the crown. Oh, hallelujah, we'll sing forever when we reach heaven and settle down.
Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank y'all so much for having us.
The Waymasters, ladies and gentlemen. More of that family. I love the fact that the Waymasters is a group, they're an older group, older than them young boys there that are not so young anymore. But the story of how those kids used to play around at their daddy's feet, and when they'd get together and make music, and the original Waymasters, and here they come in and fill in, and they're an award-winning gospel group now. So tickled to have them here with us for our 95th annual Mountain Dance and Folk Festival. And talk about the the family. Jerry Sutton may be the most proficient of all the family musicians we've got, because his dad played here. He was here with his dad, Grover Sutton. He's played. His two kids had played, Brian and Lisa. They played on this festival and on Shindig on the Green. And now his granddaughter, Bailey Brandon, such a sweet, sweet girl. And one of the joys of being around this event for any amount of time, and many of you I know have been with us August through the years or at Shindig on the Green, and watch these young people grow up and become even more accomplished on their particular instrument. And it's been so much fun watching Bailey from the days when she was little, and it was obvious Jerry was just tickled that he could get her to get up behind the microphone. That was sweet times. and now she's all grown up, and daggone she can play that fiddle. But she participated in the virtual festival we had in 2020. She volunteers here at the festival. She's worked backstage with us every night. She's a volunteer with Shindig on the Green. And like I say, it's a big family thing. And Byron, her dad, along with her mom and grandma, Carol Sutton, they're all very active volunteers for Shindig on the Green, the Mountain Dance and Folk Festival, and hugely appreciated by all of us and, of course, by the folks with the Folk Heritage Committee. But ready to play some? Oh, yeah. All right. And speaking of that Folk Heritage Committee, Jerry is a longtime member of that, and appreciate his guiding hand on so many things that this festival and this Shindig has done through the years. But please make them welcome tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Bailey Brandon and Jerry Sutton.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. It's awfully nice to be back to the festival, back on the stage. Right, Bailey? Mighty fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Bailey's, she'll be a senior in high school, so she spent a lot of her time on Shindig stage or the festival stage and learning to play her fiddle and having a good time at the same. We certainly do appreciate the invitation to come back one more time. Bailey's going to do one for you now. It's a rather new tune, as traditional tunes goes. It's one of those new traditional tunes. You know, there's some people have the ability to write a song that's new that sounds old, and that's exactly what this one is. It's one called the Winder Slide.
Thanks so much. That was Winder Slide, as he said, by Raina Gellert. Next we're going to do another fiddle tune called Lowry's Quadrille. I don't know where it originally comes from, but I learned it from my fiddle teacher, Josh Goforth, who played earlier tonight. So we're going to do that one for you, Lowry's Quadrille. Thanks. All right. So over the years, I've had the privilege to go to Fiddle Week usually, but Old Time Week this week at Swannanoa Gathering out at Warren Wilson College. So we have some fans. So I learned this one in a Southern Harmony singing class. It's called You're Running Wild by the Leuven Brothers. So we're going to sing that one for you now.
We're going to try our best on one called You're Running Wild. Oh, Bailey already said that. I'm sorry. You're running
Wild, how long can this go on? You're leaving me alone
and running wild. You're always
gone. My love you'll never share. It's more than I can bear. You're running wild.
settle down someday and find I've gone away. You think of what you've done while running wild. I can't go on. You'll have to choose the way. You'll have to go or stay. Stop running wild. You'll settle down someday and find I've gone away. You think of what you've done while running wild. I can't go on. You'll have to choose the way. You'll have to go or stay. Stop running wild. You're running wild.
Thanks so much.
Hey, Bailey, Brandon, and Jerry Sutton. Wow, that was something else, wasn't it? Yeah. Tell you what, fourth generation, as John was talking about. I remember Grover Sutton from back in the 70s, and then, of course, Jerry was on the festival here, and then his kids, Lisa and Brian Sutton, and now the great-grandchildren. It's unbelievable. But yeah, Brian Sutton. How many of you know who Brian Sutton is? Yeah. For you who don't know who Brian Sutton is, he's about the hottest guitar player in Nashville. He plays Dolly Parton's records and CDs and whatnot, and Dixie Chicks. He toured with them, but he's the number one call studio guitarist in Nashville, just as good as it gets. Brian Sutton cut his teeth here on the stage at the Shindig on the Green, the Mountain Dance and Folk Festival. Okay, we're gonna get our good friend Stoney Creek back up here because we're gonna kind of change strategy here. We're gonna hear from the Little River Cloggers and Smooth Dancers. I think they're gonna actually do a smooth dance for us here this time around. But they're from Rogemont, North Carolina, and they're gonna demonstrate how Southern Appalachian freestyle dancing has been embraced by dancers in other geographic areas, and they've participated in multiple competitions such as the North Carolina State Fair, the Bailey Mountain Summer Showdown, the North Carolina Clogging Challenge, and the ACHF World Championship, just to name a few. And they've performed several times at the Shindig on the Green, and every time they do, they're certainly great crowd pleasers. So let's make welcome the Little River Smooth Dancers. Little River.
Little River Cloggers and Smooth Dancers. Another hand for the Stoney Creek Boys. Don't they do an outstanding job? Oh, that's nice. That's good. I love that smooth dancing. It's so pretty, so pretty. Those young people, man, so talented. Next up for you, this is a group, they used to be young people. Well, I mean, you know, I was just talking with a couple of the brothers backstage, and we used to give out the Bascom Lamar Lunsford Best of Show Award, all right? And it was a gigantic trophy. I mean, the thing's, it's bigger than the NBA and NFL trophies put together. I mean, it's a huge trophy. And they won it. I believe the first year they performed. They were so well received and so excited about the family. And their mother dusted and polished on that thing for an entire year and told them not to bring it back when they come the next year. But they did. John and Jane Cockman raised this just incredibly talented family. And, yeah, they deserve that. That's for John and Jane. That's for John and Jane. We miss their sister Caroline, but we got Ben on guitar and mandolin, Billy playing the banjo, David's on bass, John Jr. playing fiddle.
Let's go to the high.
Billy, did you ever graduate from that one-year program at a two-year college or whatever it was?
Yeah, they said, no, yes, Your Honor, no, Your Honor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was on the honor roll.
Oh, okay, all right. This Cockman family, they've been awarded the North Carolina Folk Society Community Traditions Award. They've been featured on more than 10 UNC TV shows, and just incredibly talented young men. So good to have them back now, more than 30 years after they won their first Best of Show here at the Mountain Dance and Folk Festival. So good to have them back with us again, folks. And put your hands together and make welcome the Cockman Brothers.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. I don't think this one's on. Yep. Is that on? There we go. All right. right, thank you so much. That's national banjo champion Billy Cockman playing us a tune called Charlemagne. Multiple state championships. He's won a lot of banjos with that banjo. And so he's going to grab the guitar right here. We're going to do one that I wrote some time back, and it's called Letter from Home. We're going to let Benjamin grab his mandolin on this one. And we've whittled it down to the 4 primary members of the band. So we do have to switch up on the instruments a little bit. So we're going to do one called Letter from Home. When I'm feeling lonesome and there's no one else and I walk through this world all alone, I open my Bible and get by myself and I read my letter from home. Letter from home. I can still hear my mother reading aloud from the same sacred page. Letter from home. Homesick and lonesome, she spoke loud each word as she longed for the end of the age. And she asked, which way to Zion? I'm homesick and ready to start. The pathway to home can't be seen or heard, but she knew the way by heart. When I'm feeling lonesome and there's no one else and I walk through this world all alone, I open my Bible and get by myself and I read my letter from home. Letter from home. The words of my father bringing me peace in a dark, troubled age. Letter from home, sick and lonesome, I speak loud each word and they comfort me page after page. And I asked, which way to Zion? I'm homesick and ready to start, but the pathway to home can't be seen or heard, it can only be felt by the heart. When I'm feeling lonesome and there's no one else and I walk through this world all alone, I open my Bible and get by myself. Then I read my letter from home.
Thank you very much. Again, that was a song that my big brother John wrote. You know, it is an honor for us to be here. This is like a homecoming for us. So, a lot of good memories. I think I was 8 years old. I was about 6 feet tall back then, and just loving every minute of it. So it's good to see you. Thank you for having us again. We're going to do a song. Anybody a Doc Watson fan out there? He's my musical hero. So I'm going to do one that's called The Black Mountain Rag. You guys have probably heard that one. I know you've heard of the mountain. So this is my version of a Doc Watson tune dedicated to loving memory of Doc Watson called The Black Mountain Rag. Thank you.
All right, Ben Cockman on the guitar there. Ben's also a national guitar champion. He and Billy won those prizes at Winfield, Kansas, and multi-state championship as well for Ben. He's won at least 8 major championships on the guitar, and so he's playing a Henderson right now that he won a few weeks ago. He's won 2 Hendersons.
Don't get any ideas. It's getting back in the case and it's going home with me. You weren't supposed to tell him that.
Good sounding guitar, man.
No, just kidding.
Now, this is our brother David here beside of us, and we haven't introduced him. Smiling Dave is what we call him, and we're going to let him rip one on this one as well. We're gonna finish out with this one here. It's a good gospel tune. We had a request for this one. Just before we came in here, a lady met us out front, and she said, I think you're scheduled to play at my funeral. And this is the one she wanted, so I hope this is not premature, but we're going to do a little Victory in Jesus. Well, I heard an old story, how my Savior came from glory, how he gave his life on Calvary to save a wretch like me. I heard about his groaning, of his precious blood atoning. Oh, and I repented of my sin and won the victory. Oh, victory in Jesus, my Savior forever. Well, he sought me and he bought me with his redeeming blood. He loved me ere I knew him, and all my love is to him. Well, he plunged me to victory beneath the cleansing flood. I heard about a mansion he has built for me in glory, and I've heard about the streets of gold beyond the crystal sea. See about the angels singing and the old redemption story. Oh, some sweet day, well, I will sing up there the song of victory. Oh, victory in Jesus, my Savior forever. Well, he sought me and he bought me with his redeeming blood. He loved me ere I knew him, and all my love is to him. Well, he plunged me to victory beneath the cleansing flood. Victory in Jesus, my Savior forever. Well, he sought me and he bought me with his redeeming blood. He loved me ere I knew him, and all my love is to him. Well, he plunged me to victory beneath the cleansing flood. Yes, he plunged me to victory beneath the cleansing flood.
Cockman Brothers. Wow. Can you imagine that much talent in one family? Doc Watson is smiling. When I see a guitar player like that, it makes me want to go home and burn my guitar. I remember I followed Brian Sutton one night on stage in the festival here. I said that to his dad, and he said, Richard says, you got a nice guitar. He said, don't burn it. He said, just go take a picture of it and burn that. Okay, we've got one more performer before our intermission. Then we're going to take about 20. I'd remind you that a lot of these groups have CDs for sale in the back there. We've got our souvenir table set up with T-shirts and posters. And something different this year, we've got a silent auction, so you can bid on some items. We've got 2 books that have been autographed, the same book, same subject, all autographed by Dolly Parton. So you might want to put your name down for the silent auction. It will close like at 9:30, so we got about an hour. We got a piece of pottery back there. We got some other items. We got Whitewater Bluegrass is going to be putting a program there for you. You can buy their program, bid on that, and they'll come out and do a show for you. So lots of fun with that, so I hope you'll stop by. We got a few refreshments and just some other souvenirs. So appreciate your support of the Folk Heritage Committee. Author of Come Go Home With Me and My Old True Love, Sheila Kay Adams, storyteller, 7th generation ballad singer and musician. This lady does it all. She made a musical appearance in the movie The Last of the Mohicans, which came out many years ago. You may remember it. And she was the singing coach and the technical advisor for that great film called The Songcatcher, which I'm sure many of you saw. Her work with inspiring young musicians has contributed to more than 50 young folks who were represented at our youth talent celebration just this afternoon. In 2013, Sheila received, now this is big time, Sheila received the National Heritage Fellowship. That's the nation's highest honor in the folk and traditional arts. Now that says a lot. Huh? That says a lot.
You'd never know it.
She also received the North Carolina Heritage Award in 2015. She is a treasure from our mountains, Miss Sheila Kay Adams. Yeah. Sheila Kay.
Thank you. Well, howdy. That was some good picking that went on right before me. That's who I wanted to follow in this show tonight. They put me down just because I asked to follow them. So. I want to start out by sharing just a little bit of a tale with you. When I was growing up over in this little community over in Madison County, it was called Sodom, and I heard that. The only similarity in the one I grew up in and the one in the Bible's the way it's spelled, and that's true. Everything else just belongs where it should be. Anyway, growing up over there, I met a lot of characters, as you might imagine a place like Sodom would have. And one of them was named Inez Chandler, double-barrel Chandler, she referred to herself. Chandler that married a Chandler, a double-barrel Chandler. And she told me this story about her mother, Tildy. Said that, now back when Mother went to the church house, and back at the turn of the century, that would have been the 1900s, she said they always tried to wear something pretty to church. So it got to be around Easter time, and Tildy, Inez's mother, decided she was going to make herself a dress, an Easter frock, because that's what they called dresses back then, as frocks. And those dresses that had bustles that stuck out behind, back there over their hind end. And if they could afford it, they'd buy one of those little wire frames that would fit into that thing and make it fluff up back there and stand up pretty. But Tildy barely could afford to buy the cloth from Miss Peddler that came up from Spartanburg, South Carolina, a couple of times a month. And you could buy anything out of that bag that you could imagine. He carried hammers and nails and also carried pieces of cloth and thread. And she could sew like a Singer sewing machine, Inez told me. So she bought herself a pretty blue piece of cloth to make herself a dress for Easter to wear to church. And So she whipped that dress up, and they said she could look at a dress in a magazine or in the newspaper and just design it right there and then. So she whipped that dress up and fixed that bustle in the back, and came time to go to church on Easter Sunday, and she realized, well, she didn't have no frame. That thing is just laying back there, and she thought, well, I'll get into the rag bag. Now, a rag bag was exactly what it sounded like. It was a bag full of rags, and then you could get in there and use those things. Mama had a box of strings, and on the top of the box it said, strings that are too small to do anything with. So she got in the rag bag and pulled out one of those big old flour sacks and said, this'll do just fine, stuffed it in that bustle and headed out to church. Well, she noticed when she stood up, they were singing the first hymn. No, she made a big show of going down the aisle of that church house. I mean, she held her dress out to one side and she'd press down the aisle, and then she would stop and talk to them over here, and then she'd grab the other side and go over here and talk to them for a while, making sure everybody in church saw that dress. So she got down on the front row and sat down, and every time they'd stand up to sing a hymn, the snickering would start right behind her. She couldn't figure that out. Well, now, she had a temper. We called her Black Granny by the time I came along, and it was because of that black temper she had, for sure. It would just boil up out of nowhere, and she'd just cuss everything all to pieces. But on this day, she was just a young'un, and she couldn't figure out, and it had hurt her feelings, and then she got good and mad. And by the time the service was over, why, that snickering had spread all the way to the back of the church, and when they stood up to sing the last song, there's laughing out loud plumb at the back of the church. So Tildy went out of that church house. Now, she was fit to be tied, I'm telling you the truth, and she got about halfway home, and her brothers caught up with her. She had 9 younger brothers. She was the oldest girl in a family of 10 and had 9 younger brothers. And some of them caught up with her, and oh, there's just a pointing at her, and a holding her mouth and a laughing out loud at her. And she said, I want to know what's the dad blame funny and been laughing at me all morning in church, and I'm about tired of it. So she grabbed up a big handful of rocks and throwing rocks at them as they was running off down the road. Well, she got to the house, and by that time she was so mad she was a-crying. She headed down the hall there in the house, and she got right beside her little room. They had added her a little room since she was the only girl in that family. Added her a little room right at the end of the house, and when she got down there, she thought, well, I'll just see if I've got my slip a-hanging back there, or if a seam has come undone and they actually was a-seeing my flesh in church. I'm going to find out what the problem was. So she stood up, turned around, looked over her shoulder, and in that mirror you could read just plain as day through the fabric of that cloth, 50 pounds of the very best. And that's the gospel truth according to Inez Double-Barrel Chandler. Now, she also taught me this little song to sing whenever I tell that story. So now I don't know what's going to go through your mind. I can't help that. You'll just have to do the best you can with it, because I can't help you none. But I was a real purist when I was about 14 years old. I went around to all the older folks over there around home that sung these old love songs, they called them. But I was always afraid of Inez Chandler, because she would just drill you to the wall with her blue eyes, just shining daggers all the time. But I found out later it's because she hated young'uns. She just despised children except for her own, she said, and everywhere she went, she said, young'uns have got them sticky little hands, and they'll just put them up against the polyester of this dress, and they just stick to it, and I just go a-dragging them all over the place. Just a whole dress tail full of little young'uns a-squalling and a-carrying on. But when I got to be 15, she said, come down to the house, and I'll learn you one of them old love songs that I learned from my pap. So I said, well, all right. I gathered myself up, and I went down there and perched on a chair on the porch there across from her like I would learn the old love songs. They'd sing a verse, and I'd sing it back to them. She said, now I'm going to sing this and all the way through, and you'll catch it. You'll get it real fast. As long as you've been learning them big long-winded things from Granny Dale and all of them, you'll get this one quick. Well, my eyes flew open at a certain place, and I wonder if yours will too, so everybody close your eyes. Now, I can see if you ain't got them open, so, all right, everybody's got their eyes closed now, so see if yours flies open where mine did. There was an old farmer who lived by the sea, and a merry old farmer was he. He had a fair maiden who laid on the grass, and every time she turned over she'd show her fair ruffles and tuffles as slick as a duck. She taught that old farmer a new way to bring up the children and teach them to knit, while the servants in the barnyard were shoveling out contents of the barnyard as slick as glass. If you don't like my story, you can go kiss my daughter in the parlor, who winds up the clock with a piece of red ribbon tied all round her. Poodle dogger, poodle dogger, poodle dog galore. If you don't like my story, I'll tell it no more. Yep, see, I don't know where your mind went, but I'm going to close things out here with a banjo tune that's got a chorus to it that I'd appreciate if you'd help me sing it. The chorus goes, fly around my pretty little miss, fly around my daisy, fly around my pretty little miss, she almost drive me crazy. You got it? All right, let's try it. Fly around my pretty little miss, fly around my daisy, fly around my pretty little miss, almost drive me crazy. Well, you've got it. Good job. These first two verses I learned from Tommy Gerald, a great fiddle player up in Mount Airy, North Carolina. Then we'll get to grannies and their verses. Cherry tree, the riper are the cherries, and the more you hug and kiss the gal, sooner they will marry. Fly around my pretty little miss, fly around my daisy, fly around my pretty little miss, almost drive me crazy. Gonna hitch old Logan in the front and Morgan in behind. I'm going down that rocky road to see that gal of mine. Fly around my pretty little miss, fly around my daisy, fly around my pretty little miss, almost drive me crazy. Now this is one that Berzilla taught me, and she was Granny's older sister. Wish I had me a pretty little pig and corn to feed him on. Wish I had me a blue-eyed man to feed him when I was gone. Fly around my pretty little miss, fly around my daisy, fly around my pretty little miss, almost drive me crazy. Now this one, I learned from Granny, these two verses coming up next, and she'd say, now you need to tell everybody that's listening to you and singing with you that you're going to sing two verses, because they'll bust out right in the middle of it trying to sing that chorus and embarrass herself. So these two are Granny's. When I was a little bitty boy, all I wanted was a knife. Now that I'm a great big boy, all I need is a wife. When I was a great big boy, all I wanted was a wife. Now that I'm an old man, Lord, all I need is a knife. Fly around my pretty little miss, fly around my daisy, fly around my pretty little miss, almost drive me crazy. All right, this one is Kaz Wallins. Kaz was a sight. Went to see my gal last night, the dress she wore was red, and every time I looked at her, I wish my wife was dead. Fly around my pretty little miss, fly around my daisy, fly around my pretty little miss, almost drive me crazy. You ready for Inez Chandlers? I figured you would be. You run around the mulberry bush and I'll run around the cedar, and you pull up your petticoat and I'll pull out for Georgie. Fly around my pretty little miss, fly around my daisy, fly around my pretty little miss, almost drive me crazy. Thank y'all very much. Thank you.
Oh, Sheila Kay Adams, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're going to take a little bit of a break. Invite you to go out into the lobby and visit with some of our musicians and some of our dancers that are out there and take a little break. And we'll come back the second half of the show. We got more great and wonderful mountain music and dance coming your way. All right? Enjoy yourself. Nice to have the lights up. I can see all of you. Dang, you're a good-looking bunch. it's two couples. Doug Orr, during his tenure as president of Warren Wilson College, he facilitated the development of a summer Appalachian music studies program called the Swannanoa Gathering. You may have heard of that. Yep. Well, that was something that Doug got started. He and his wife Darcy and Fiona Ritchie collaborated on the book Wayfaring Stranger, telling the story of the musical voyage from Scotland to Ulster to our region here in Appalachia. He also contributed to Billy Ed Wheeler's book, Hotter Than a Pepper Sprout. What a wonderful read that is, Doug. I enjoy that so much. Joe and Karen Holbert are longtime friends of the Folk Heritage Committee and their events. As a matter of fact, when I first got acquainted with the festival and Shindig on the Green, Joe was an active member of the Folk Heritage Committee and was chair of this committee for almost 20 years ago. But on the stage, all the way over there, is Darcy Orr on lap dulcimer, Doug Orr on the guitar. We got Karen Holbert on fiddle and lap dulcimer, and there's Joe on the guitar. All right? Did I get them all right?
Yeah.
All right, I did well.
I've got my air fiddle and air dulcimer tonight.
There you go. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome to the Mountain Dance and Folk Festival, the Southern Highlanders.
As I went down in the valley to pray,
studying about the good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way.
Oh, Mother,
oh, Father, let's go down. Let's go down, don't you want to go down? Oh, Father, let's go down, down in the valley to pray.
as I went down in the valley to pray,
studying about the good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way.
Oh, Father,
let's go down. Let's go down, don't you want to go down? Oh, Father, let's go down, down in the valley to pray.
as I went down in the valley to pray,
studying about the good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way.
Oh, children,
let's go down. Let's go down, don't you want to go down? Oh, children, let's go down,
down in the valley to pray. As I went down in the valley to pray,
studying about the good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, you probably remember that from the movie Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? It's been recorded by Alison Krauss, Ralph Stanley, Emmylou Harris, a bunch of folks. A great ballad from deep in our southern Appalachian Mountains. Well, folks, it's great to be back here. How many years has it been now, Joe?
For who?
For us.
Oh, for the group, 9 years.
9 years.
Karen and I have been
Next
doing
year
it
will be our
21 years, so we're on our 30th year.
Yes, it's our 30th year here.
In a way, it's a little different this year, isn't it, in what we've been through. It's been a hard year. It's been a hard couple of years, and we hope you're doing well and safe. I know that many of us have lost friends. I learned yesterday that I lost a friend of 77 years. We started the first grade together. We bought guitars in the second grade, and we played music all the way through junior high school, college, and I miss him a lot. So, what is it?
Oh, I'm just touching.
Oh, thanks. So this is for Pete, but also for all of those loved ones and friends that you've lost. It's called Show Me the Road That Leads to My Home. You know, in a fractured world and time as right now, we need folks to keep singing, so we invite you to sing on the refrains and the choruses of anything we do here, including Show Me the Road That Leads to My Home. That's a refrain throughout. We invite you to join us. Too many miles I have traveled alone. Show me the road that leads to my home. Strangers, strangers, everywhere I roam. Show me the road that leads to my home. Trouble, trouble, trouble on my mind. Show me the road that leads to my home. Finding precious little peace, losing precious time. Show me the road that leads to my home. Show me a sign, tell me a reason. Cold winds have scattered the seeds I've sown. Lord, let me live to see another morning. Show me the road that leads to my home. Such a long, long journey seems we've traveled on. Show me the road that leads to my home. Such a short time we're here, friends, then we're gone. Show me the road that leads to my home. Here we go. Show me a sign, tell me a reason. Cold winds have scattered the seeds I have sown. Lord, let me live to see another morning. Show me the road that leads to my home. Remembering the good times, feeling sometimes pain. Show me the road that leads to my home. I've sung all the sad songs and seen the rain. Show me the road that leads to my home. Show me a sign, tell me a reason. Cold winds have scattered the seeds I have sown. Lord, let me live to see another morning. Show me the road that leads to my home. Show me a sign, tell me a reason. Cold winds have scattered the seeds I have sown. Lord, let me live to see another morning. Show me the road that leads to my home. Show me the road that leads to my home.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Well, over the last 2 or 3 years, it seems like we've all been seeking the brightness of life, hope. Here's a little poem that I came across by the poet Sandy Ozenich, which kind of is a lead-in to our last song here, called Bright Side. There exists in each human heart a poem and a maker of music. And if you're still, you can hear the music of this human life, your life. Come and play the music. Embrace the bright side of life. Be still and know and sing life's song. There's a bright side somewhere, there's a bright side somewhere. I ain't gonna rest until I find it. There's a bright side somewhere. The second verse is there's peace. Third, joy, love. We found music in the next verse and back to bright side. Sing along with us if you would, please. There's a bright side somewhere, indeed there is, and we're gonna find it. C. Thanks, Joe. Just checking to see if you were paying attention. There's a bright side somewhere. There's a bright side somewhere. rest until I find it. There's a bright side somewhere. True peace, there is true peace somewhere. There is true peace somewhere. Ain't gonna rest until I find it. There is true peace somewhere. True joy, there is true joy somewhere. There is true joy somewhere. Ain't gonna rest until I find it. There is true joy somewhere. There is true love somewhere. There is true love somewhere. Ain't gonna rest until I find it. There is true love somewhere. There is music right here. There is music right here. I'm gonna rest 'cause now I found it. There is music right here. Join us. There's a bright side somewhere. There's a bright side somewhere. Ain't gonna rest until I find it. There's a bright side somewhere. Ain't gonna rest until I find it. There's a bright side somewhere. Thank you, folks. Indeed, there is.
Thank you.
Southern Highlanders. Great job, folks. The Swannanoa Gathering. Doug Orr is the gentleman that started that some years ago, and that's always a big event. They just wrapped up here. It's about a 3 or 4 week event out at Warren Wilson College. And Doug also hosts an event called the Winter Solstice. It's generally held over at the Diana Wortham Theater around Christmas time. It's something that's really, really a neat musical program, and it's something that's you should go see come December, which is not that far off when you think about it. Okay, Bailey Brandon, Marley Merritt, Emma Gooch, Bayla Davis, and their instructor, the famous Josh Goforth, at the Academy for the Arts. In 2021, that was last year, they began working together to form a group doing lovely 2-part harmony, old-time picking, and a little bit of bluegrass mixed in. And these young folks performed this afternoon at our second Youth Talent Celebration with Bailey in the role of assistant to Josh Goforth, the program manager, and as stage manager for the event. And I was here and saw it, and it was fantastic. When you watch these kids under the tutelage of people like Josh, who are real pros, these kids learn how to play and learn how to carry on the traditions here in our mountain culture, which is what Mr. Bascom Lamar Lunsford wanted to see happen. So Josh Goforth and Bailey also organized the lobby exhibition Thursday and Friday evenings, which were crowd pleasers, to introduce the Youth Talent Celebration to you all, our festival audience, and to provide music before the show and there at Intermission. So you will not wonder about the future of our Southern Appalachian music tradition when you listen to the Smoky Mountains Songcatchers. So let's welcome them for the first appearance at this event, the stage of the 95th Mountain Dance and Folk Festival. Take it away, folks.
Thank you.
We are the Smoky Mountain Songcatchers. Bailey also wanted to tell y'all to check out her stickers that she made in the lobby.
It's our band stickers.
Yeah,
Seriously.
they're awesome. They're really awesome. It's my first sticker on my new banjo case, too. I think it's just going to be the only one, too.
Is that important?
It's very important. The next song we're going to do is Swanna Noah Waltz, featuring our 2 fiddle players, Bailey Brandon and Emma Googe.
Thank you. So I'm going to introduce the rest of the band. And on bass is Marley Merritt. And Bayla Davis on banjo. And our teacher, Josh Goforth. We take lessons at the Academy for the Arts. And our last song is called Bury Me Beneath the Willow, sang by Bayla Davis.
My heart is dead and I am lonely, thinking of the one I love. When shall I see
The Smoky Mountain Song Catchers. That's some kind of pretty, wasn't it? Some kind of talent. Boys. I tell you what, you go from the Southern Highlanders and the wonderful music that they share with us. These young people come in and talk about young people. We got some more. You saw them earlier in the first half of the program, the Little River Cloggers. They're going to do some clogging now. They did smooth dancing earlier, but just wonderful, wonderful group. So good to have them back with us again this year under the direction of Jan Dalton. But from the eastern part of the state, this dancing is not just around western North Carolina, southern Appalachian. A lot of folks think that Big Circle Mountain dancing is just from here. But I remember Glenn Bannerman talking about years and years ago, before he ever come to this area, he knew of Big Circle dancing that was taking place throughout Virginia and also down in the eastern part of North Carolina. So it's been around, and good to have this team here with us. Once again, we got our Stoney Creek Boys up here ready to go for us, and let's bring this group out once again. Ladies and gentlemen, the Little River Cloggers.
Little River, Cloggers, Stoney Creek. Whew, it wore me out just watching it. That's a good way to lose about 10 pounds. 20 points on your cholesterol, that'll do it too. Oh, I'd like to give a big shout out to our Folk Heritage Committee and the volunteers that put this all together. We got a group of volunteers, and I'll call attention to it. It's on the back page of the program here. Lists all the folks, the Folk Heritage Committee members and the advisory members and all the volunteers. So the folks you see outside there at the booths and so forth, as you're going out, give them a thank you and tell them how much you enjoyed it. But let's give them all a nice round of applause. Some of them are probably sitting back here. We appreciate them so much. So much. They do such a great job. But it's a year-round event. I mean, they have meetings every month I think it is to plan this and the shindig on the green. I'd like to also acknowledge our corporate sponsors. Our headlining event sponsors are Explore Asheville, Allen's Pawn, and Finkelstein's. Corporate sponsors are Renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas, Gillespie Dental Associates, Bill Hanson, our old friends, I know is here, Bill, Richard Hurley, yours truly, Mosaic Community Lifestyle Realty, and Pax Taverns. So I hope you will patronize our sponsors. I know they would appreciate it, and we appreciate what they're doing to support us. This gentleman to my right, you've seen, I think, you haven't seen Kathy Arrowwood over there, I don't think, yet. Kathy Arrow, Jerry Sutton, you've already met earlier. But Roger Howell with that fiddle, his contributions to the music of the Appalachia are absolutely immeasurable. He's recorded more than 500, I think it's up in the 600s now, fiddle tunes from memory and donated them to the Mars Hill University's Southern Appalachian Archives for preservation. How many is it now, Roger? 600?
650 to them, and I got 100 more that I might give them. So
650, 100 more to come. Thank you, Roger. I don't know how you do it, but you do it. So, but he's one of our many local treasures, and in each performance he gives credit to the fiddler from whom he learned his various songs. In the documentary, A Mighty Fine Memory, Stories and Tunes from the Fiddler of Banjo Branch, that's where Roger lives out in Mars Hill. It's a story of the musical journey that he's taken, and it illustrates how he's benefited how it has benefited all who are dedicated to the promotion and preservation of the music of our Appalachian Mountains. So please welcome to the stage our friend, a great friend to the mission of the committee, Roger Howell, with his friends Jerry Sutton and Kathy Arrowwood.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Y'all want to hear a couple of little old fiddle tunes? I grew up around some of the best old-time fiddlers that ever lived, the older generation, like my grandfather and father's age. One of them was the name of Tommy Hunter, and he lived out in Mars Hill, Madison County, one of the smoothest, sweetest fiddlers I've ever heard. He had what they call a long bow style. He'd put 20 notes this way and 20 notes going back that way. He wouldn't do a lot of this little fine stuff. I kindly mix it up. I try to do some of his stuff. This is a tune that I first heard him play, and you all have heard it, no doubt, growing up and seen it on TV. It's an old English dance tune. And it's by several different names. Mrs. McLeod's Reel is one of them. But around here we call it Hoplite Ladies, so we're going to give it a shot here. Oh, Jerry. Give Jerry a hand, folks. All right. Mighty fine. I'm going to speed it up a little bit and do an old French-Canadian thing here. It was originally Irish, but you know how that works. They migrate. Everything went to Texas back in the 20s. A lot of the Cape Breton fiddlers went down there. And this is one version. The old fiddlers play this thing in F, but anymore it's done in D, and it's called Fisher's Hornpipe. So here we go. I wish I could do that. Oh, Jerry Sutton, folks. All right. All right, we're going to end our little portion here, and we sure appreciate you listening to us. And like to do a waltz. I always like to do a waltz in her performance if we can, and this is appropriately enough called The Good Night Waltz. Although we're not the last, we're getting close though. Here we go. All right. Thank you, folks. Appreciate the whole lot. Kathy Airwood, Jerry Sutton.
Thank you, Roger. And from what I understand, it's a well-known fact, Roger has 650 songs that have been archived at Mars Hill University. 650 songs that man knows. Well, he was telling me that he now knows 100 more. I mean, just like, I can't even remember the words to Amazing Grace without having the red hymnal in my hand. I just tell you, it amazes me that he can remember that. Roger Howell, oh, what wonderful talent. By the way, silent auction is over, and I've got the winners here. We'll start with the Aaron Janot pottery, Rebecca Presley. Congratulations to Rebecca. It was a silent auction, and her bid was the top, and she is going to get that beautiful pottery. Now, there were 2 Dolly Parton autographed Dream More books, okay? The first, I keep looking at this, and every time I look at it, it looks like John Roten to me. But somebody said it's Laura Businger, so I'll let that go. The other winner, maybe she's with us tonight, Donna Cavanaugh. She also gets a copy of Dream More, the autographed copy of Dolly Parton's book, Dream More. So congratulations to Donna. And the other item that was up for bids with the silent auction was a performance by Whitewater Bluegrass Company. And Ed, if you need an MC, I know one that's available, friend. Ed Herron, by the way. Say congratulations to Ed. His bid gets him a performance with Whitewater Bluegrass Company. That's pretty cool. Oh. Last night I was talking a little bit about Adams Drugstore and how Josh Goforth back in the days was doing some recording up there, and he's just like a little kid in a toy store. He was having so much fun being around all those musicians, and the jam that they used to have there, and that was a fun time. That was a fun time. These boys know all about that. They come from Madison County, northern Buncombe County. Young man here on bass, Sam Adams Jr. Sam, how you doing? Sammy Adams picking the banjo. Jackson Adams are son and grandsons of the late Jerry Adams. Now, Jerry was a member of the Folk Heritage Committee, and he was owner of that Adams Drugstore up there in Madison County, Marshall. Renowned three-finger banjo picker.
Pretty good.
Another family member, McClellan Patterson, and friend Jamie Roberts, whose dad, David, volunteered here at Shindig on the Green. His mother, Kathy Roberts, has also served on the Folk Heritage Committee and Advisory Board. And that's this group of youngsters and very talented young people here. They were a part of our virtual performance in 2020 and appeared on stage in the 94th Annual Mountain Dance and Folk Festival, and good to have them back again. Put your hands together and make them welcome to the stage, ladies and gentlemen. This is White Rock Revival.
How's everybody doing tonight? Let's hear it. A little bit more. A little energy. I know it's late. Let's go for it. 1, 2, 3. Bird crying, can't you hear the lonesome dove saying, won't you come back, darling, to the only one you love? Meet me out on a mountain underneath the lonesome pine, where we vow we love each other, darling, say, won't you be mine? Wildwood flowers grow, where we vowed we'd love each other in our childhood long ago. Meet me out on a mountain underneath the lonesome pine, where we vowed we'd love each other, darling, say, won't you be mine? Darling, whoa, I wander far from home, where we vowed we'd love each other in our childhood long ago. Meet me out on a mountain underneath the lonesome pine, where we vowed we'd love each other, darling, say, won't you be mine? each other. Darling, say, won't you be mine? Darling, say, won't you be mine?
All right. Thank you, folks. Well, we're excited to be here. Got to play last year. Did the virtual festival the year before, and man, this is a highlight of my year to come play this. So we've been jamming downstairs, and me and the boys here, we're just raring to go. Can't hardly stand it. Next, we're gonna get our old buddy cousin Clellan Patterson down here on the dobro to sing you a tune. That first song we did was by a bluegrass group called the Stanley Brothers. Stanley Brothers did what Ralph called an old-time mountain style of bluegrass. So I guess that's what we just did, old mountain style. But this next one, Clellan, he's going to stretch out and sing you a real pretty slow song. Good sad. I don't know, is it sad?
Kinda.
I think it's a love song. Sometimes love can be sad.
It may be sad by the time I get done with it.
No, surely not.
Clellan's the closest thing we got to a woman up here. So.
Yeah, he's our girl singer.
Let her go. Is ready?
Somewhere in my thoughts there lives a lady, walking back and forth across my mind, knocking out each chance of me forgetting, assuring me she'll be there for some time. Her golden hair is wrapped around my memory. The pain she left with me is here to stay. I'm doing all
Well, that's pretty good, old Quail.
Let me take just 1 minute here to mention a couple of names to you. John mentioned that I am Jerry's son. I got a sister. He had 2 kids, but these 2 boys up here is his grandson. But I'd like to mention a few more names. I was drug around through high school to all of these festivals and things, and it's just a part of our culture. And let me just encourage all of you people that's listening, all of you performers, you know, if we don't keep doing it, what's going to happen to it? So, but, you know, there's staples up here. You know, Arville passed away. Then there's Leonard Hollifield. I mean, man, we can't sing Deep Dark Holler without thinking of Leonard Hollifield. And there's just some very influential people, you know, that have passed on in the last little while. And I know that that's just the way it is, but I want you to think about that. I want you to think about what you do in your life. And, you know, you've got a culture, and what you do to preserve that is pretty important. As we sing this last one here, I want to dedicate it to my good buddy, passed away back in January. We were co-grandparents to Sammy's children here. Dr. David Robinson, I want to dedicate this tune to him. He was a good friend of mine, had been for years, co-worker, co-grandparent, and a whale of a good fiddler and singer. So, you know, he liked the odd stuff, so we're going to do one that you may not have heard in a while. A country gentleman did it. We get a charge out of doing it, but I just wanted to mention some of those names to you and tell you that, you know, as I get older, it sure means something to me, and I don't want this to disappear. I don't want this to go away. I want it to hang around.
Before we take off into this last one, I was researching the song because I didn't know who wrote it, and found out last night or night before that Mel Tillis, the country singer, actually wrote this. You know, old stuttering Mel. So if I get choked up and start stuttering, just blame it on Mel.
Started out from Bern one sunny August morning. It was just the 4 of us against the Matterhorn. It was Albert the Australian and John the Irishman, me and Bill from Britain, mad dogs in the sun. Matterhorn, Matterhorn, men have tried and men have died to climb the Matterhorn, that mighty Matterhorn. 2 miles up, we lost John and our rations fell below. Now Al and Bill are lying beneath an avalanche of snow. Here I am all alone and I know I cannot stop. There's 2 more yards in front of me before I reach the top. Matterhorn, Matterhorn, men have tried and men have died to climb the Matterhorn, that mighty Matterhorn. Here I am a-dying upon the Matterhorn. Not a grave for me to lie in or a thing to keep me warm. The Queen would surely knight me if I could get back down. It's closer here to heaven than it is back to the ground. Matterhorn, Matterhorn, men have tried and men have died to
White Rock Revival. Great job, guys. Great job. Good stuff. How many folks we got here for the first time to the Mountain Dance and Folk Festival? Give us a shout. Raise a hand there. My golly. That's good. Well, thanks for being here. How many folks that ain't from here? Out-of-staters, out-of-towners. Well, thank you for being here. Let's give them a nice round. Our visitors coming here to be with us for this 95th Mountain Dance and Folk Festival. I can so well remember back in the 60s when Mr. Lunsford would be standing on the side of the stage, kicking up his feet and having a big time. Somebody said, "Why do you wear the white coat?" That's the reason, because he always wore a white coat and white suit. So I do it in his honor. But he was something else, and to have the vision to start this back in 1928 and to become the longest running folk festival in America says a whole lot. Does it not? Yes. And then the Shindig on the Green, 56th year, kind of a spin-off of the old folk festival. Carol Rifkin's there in the middle there brought her band with her, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Carol in just a minute, but on the fiddle and guitar, got John Mitchell on the guitar, got Ryan Cannon, Lou Holloway is on the bass, Blaine Chappelle is on the banjo, and these folks hail from over in Henderson County. Now, Carol has been responsible for helping to keep events like the Shindig on the Green and the Mountain Dance and Folk Festival in the public eye with her articles profiling area musicians, dancers, and storytellers. She's a very, very good creative writer. And in her own right, Carol is a seasoned performer. In 1985, she performed in the British TV special Down Home Appalachia to Nashville. And as a dancer, she performed with the professional Greengrass Clogging Group, which many of us know about. And they were a road team during several Emmy Award-winning productions, and they toured internationally. So Carol she's been in a lot of events. Her resume is packed with Merle Fest and other festival credits and awards, and she's a director of the French Broad Valley Music Association and conducts local jamming groups that meet weekly there in Henderson County. I guess that's where she found her band. Kind of makes sense to me. But her radio show is a great show. It's called This Old Porch, and it's a popular Sunday afternoon listen on WNCW. Listen to it tomorrow evening for the music community. And she's director of the Henderson County Junior Appalachian Musicians Program, the Jam Program, which we saw this afternoon. And they had a great show with us. So let's please welcome to the Mountain Dance and Folk Festival stage our friend Carol Rifkin and her friends. Give them a nice round.
Yeah. We're happy to be here. I think we're going to start out with a train song. People like train songs, don't they? Especially train wreck songs.
They do, but there's no mama in this song, so just be ready, okay?
Well, they handed him his orders at Monroe, Virginia. Said, "Frank, you're way behind time. This is not 38, it is old 97. You must set her into Spencer on time." Oh, he looked around the cabin at his black greased fireman, said, "Shovel on a little more coal. For when we pass that white oak mountain, you can see old 97 roll." It's a mighty rough road from Lynchburg to Danville. Oh, the train was on a 7-mile grade. It was on that grade that he lost his average. You should see what a jump he made. Making 90 miles an hour, oh, the engine broke into a scream. Well, they found him in the wreck with his hands on the throttle. He was scalded to death by the steam. Yes, women, you take from this day forward, or for now, forevermore. Never speak harsh words to your true love and husbands. They may leave you and never return.
John Mitchell.
Those guys are like fighter pilots and NASCAR drivers rolled into one, Ryan.
Man. All right, now we're going to do a little geography lesson, and we appreciate you keeping your seats. This is something in case you have some friends from South Carolina. They like to call themselves Carolina. They don't even know what they're talking about. Now listen, they don't have a toast in South Carolina as far as I know. Is my wife in the room? She's from South Carolina. If she ain't back there, they don't have a toast in South Carolina.
Don't tell it all, Ryan.
So in North Carolina, we have something in case you're ever in a room where people are raising glasses, toasting weddings, toasting graduations, maybe even toasting the wake of somebody you just lost. This is called the North Carolina toast. So next time you get in a room and somebody asks you to raise a glass, you better say this. Well, you aren't from the old North State. Here's to the land of the longleaf pine, the summer land where the sun doth shine, where the weak grow strong and the strong grow great. Here's to the old town, hometown, old North State.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's the North Carolina breakdown.
I think I saw some flasks out there, Ryan.
Yeah.
Some illegal booze.
And just so you know, you don't have to play after you say the toast. The toast stands alone if you need it to.
Keep going, Ryan.
We need the guitar.
Just like we tune for your benefit, we get different instruments for your benefit too.
I promise I'm coming back.
Right?
I don't like retuning banjos.
If Carol don't come back, I won't come back. So we sung about trains, and in normal fashion, you got to sing about some whiskey.
Absolutely.
I mean,
What do you have in your glass when you do that.
that has to be the way, right, John?
My dad used to do this song, and I bet you'll recognize it in different variations. It's the Little Stream of Whiskey. Ready?
I'm ready.
Beside a western water tank one cold November day, beside an empty boxcar, it died of a leg. daughter in Danville not to worry at all, for I'm just a hobo and she won't miss me at all. Tell her not to weep for me, no tears her eyes do lurk, for I'm gone to a better land where I'll never have to work. She said I'm going to a better land where everything is bright, where the handouts grow on bushes and we sleep out every night, and we never have to work at all or even change our socks, and a little stream of whiskey comes rolling down the rocks. Well, hark, I hear a whistle, catch it on the fly. My beer I'd like to have just one more before I die. The hobo's head, it fell back, each sung his last refrain. His partner took his hat and shoes and caught the eastbound train. He said, I'm going to a better land where everything is bright, where the handouts grow on bushes and we sleep out every night, and we never have to work at all or even change our socks, and a little stream of whiskey comes rolling down the rock, and a little stream of whiskey comes rolling down the rocks.
Outstanding job, Carol. Carol and her friends there. And again, look forward to popular Sunday afternoon program on WNCW with Carol. This old porch, that's going to be some kind of good. Want to take just a moment. We're getting close to the end of the program. Just got a couple of more groups to get out here, but talented musicians still yet to come. But I haven't really said anything nice about Alan right here. Alan, sorry. There's lots of nice things to say about Alan. He's a great friend and wonderful sound guy. Part of Acoustic Sound Productions, which is owned by Stuart Reinhardt. You don't see Stuart. He's back there in the dark running the sound. And they do an outstanding job all 3 nights of the Mountain Dance and Folk Festival. And they're also the sound that we have for Shindig on the Green as well. So if you would please, for Alan and Stuart, Acoustic Sound Production. I'm sorry I don't know the young man on the far side. He is a student at UNC Asheville that they provided to us, and we thank them so much. But for that, but most of all for this wonderful theater that we're able to have our festival in, and we appreciate UNC Asheville so much. And this Lipinski Auditorium, just a wonderful, wonderful venue. And so nice to be in here with our musicians and our dancers and have a good time. And I know those seats are comfortable. I sat in one of them for half the show last night, so I do know that's a good place to sit. This next group, Tom began more than 20 years ago. He's a wonderful songwriter and writes about things he knows and people he knows and places that he knows, and I just love his music and always have. Something of a playwright as well. He's had several productions featured at the Folk Arts Center and on the Blue Ridge Parkway at the Asheville Community Center. He's got a great song called Summertime Saturday Night that's about Shindig on the Green. You get a chance, if they don't do it tonight, YouTube that thing, enjoy it. Or maybe come next Saturday night, be the final Shindig of the season. You boys might be down there and you could play it then. But at any rate, we're tickled to have him with us. We'll go down the line here. Tom Godleski is there on the bass. He's the ringleader of this outfit. My paper says that's Don Lewis way down there on the fiddle, but that is not Don Lewis. No.
If it is, he got a lot prettier.
He stepped it up a sight, didn't he?
He sure did.
That is Rhiannon Ramsey Jenkins down there on the fiddle. Got Corey Warren on the mandolin. You saw him earlier dancing with about 42 members of his youngins and stuff and everything. David Hyatt there on the guitar and George Buckner on the banjo. Put your hands together and make welcome Buncombe Turnpike.
Hey, y'all. How's everybody? Let me tell you real quick, because I want to say something about this first song, but I found it just loses its luster if you talk about it after the song. So anyway, this is a title track of our CD. Came out about 4 years ago, and I just want to tell you, in the third verse of this song, there's a couple lines that says, if we can play for years, but what good have we done if we haven't passed the music on to someone else, like the younger people? And so, and you know who said that to me at the Mountain Dancing Folk Festival one time was Arvil Freeman. And so I'm like, man, straight out of the legend's mouth. And of course, Rhiannon was a student of Arvil's, and so I took Arvil's lines and put it in the song. It's one called "They Passed It Down." Our ancestors long ago played their fiddles and their banjo, sound they brought from across the sea, started a musical legacy. The next generation came along, they took up the mountain song. Babies were born, and as they grew, they took up the music too. They passed it down to one another, mother and father, sister and brother, neighbor and kin, all gathered round, gave the blessing and passed it down. Little boy sat on his daddy's knee, said, "Daddy, won't you teach your song to me?" Now the boy plays with a famous band, making music all over this land. And he has a son of his own, teaching that boy about timing and tone. Oh, how proud Granddaddy would be he was only here to see. They pass it down to one another, mother and father, sister and brother, neighbor and kin, all gathered round, gave the blessing and passed it down. There's a wise man that says all the time, you gotta pass the music on down the line. Keep our music going strong, keep our music there it belongs. If we play for years, what good have we done if we have not passed the music on? They pass it down to one another, mother and father, sister and brother, neighbor and kin, all gathered round, gave the blessing and passed it down. Gave the blessing and passed it down. Gave the blessing and passed it down. Thank you so much. Me and Dave went into a restaurant the other day, a little cafe, and the waitress came up and she said, "Special today, it's beef tongue." Dave says, "Shoo," says, "I don't want nothing come out of no cow's mouth. Just fry me up a couple eggs." Woo! All right, we're gonna do let's see. I'm trying to think about 3 songs, and in all 3 songs, nobody drinks, nobody dies, nobody even as much as smokes a cigarette in these songs. So But we're going to do a gospel tune, one that I wrote about my grandparents, Jeter and Julie Harris. They're buried up in Avery County, and this is on their tombstone. Grandmom loved the Lord with all of her soul. She prayed and read her Bible every day. When she passed away, family and friends gathered round to say their last goodbye. The preacher read from the Bible and had many things to say, but I won't forget the words he spoke when they laid her in her grave. Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Well done for the faithful life you've lived. Your days on earth were spent in glory to the Lord, and now you've earned your reward. Granddaddy was a preacher, a proclaimer of the word, and a believer in the promises of God. So when Grandmom left us, he said we'll see her again if we follow the example that she lived. Now Granddad has been called away to God's promised land. He and Grandmama are walking hand in hand. Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Well done for the faithful life you've lived. Your days on earth were spent in glory to the Lord, and now you've earned your reward. Oh, now you've earned your reward. Thank y'all so much. We appreciate that. I just want to take a couple seconds here to and tell y'all about Corey. He's paying me to say this, but we have we had a little one-day camp for some children at our farm. My wife and I have a little small farm over in Emma, and we have this wooden pavilion with a floor in it. And the lady over the children's program, she said she specifically asked if the children could learn to square dance, and Corey came over, and it just warmed my heart when I got down there. We had to take the children in 2 loads, and when I got down there with a second load of children, he was in amongst all these children teaching them how to square dance, and they had a big time. And I just want to say I'm so proud of him and proud to be his bandmate and his friend, and for him teaching these children to square dance, and they absolutely loved it. It was a great day. Anyway, so John had mentioned this song. We'd already planned it because Loretta told me she'd kill me if we didn't play the song. So, no, not really. This is a song about Shindig. It's called Asheville Summertime Saturday Night. And I called Loretta up when we were, and I give her credit for helping me write the song because I called her up and I said, Loretta, if I was attempting to write a song about Shindig, what would you want it to say? And she said, oh, people laughing, people clapping, people clogging. And she rattled off all this stuff, and it pretty much worked. I had to rearrange some of the words, but she basically wrote the chorus of this song. Anyway, it's got the longest name of any song in history. It's called Asheville Summertime Saturday Night.
Yeah, we're getting 5 cents for every time Tom says that. What's the name of the song?
Asheville Summertime Saturday Night. Stoney Creek Boys and Rhiannon are locking up the show. Some taters on the fiddle, they kick off the show. Thousands of people in the crowd, an event like you've never seen. Asheville Summertime Saturday Night, it's Shindig on the green. Oh, cloggers dancing, people laughing, mountain music fills the air. Toes tapping, hands clapping, smiling everywhere. Young and old alike gather up to pick and sing, share their mountain heritage at Shindig on the green.
It's George Buckner on that banjo. How about a hand for George?
Loretta's running around backstage with a clipboard in her hand. Said, Lord, it's like a herding cats lining up these bands. She ain't got far to go, jam session under every tree. Asheville Summertime Saturday Night is Shindig on the green. Oh, cloggers dancing, people laughing, mountain music fills the air. Toes is tapping, hands clapping, smiling everywhere. Young and old alike gather up to pick and sing. Where'd she go? Sharing their mountain heritage at Shindig on the green. For over 50 years, folks have enjoyed the show. For mountain music and dancing, ain't no better place to go. Bring a blanket or a folding chair, guaranteed you will be pleased. Asheville Summertime Saturday Night, it's Shindig on the green. Oh, cloggers dancing, people laughing, mountain music fills the air. Toes tapping, hands clapping, smiling everywhere. Young and old alike gather up to pick and sing, share their mountain heritage at Shindig on the green.
Oh, Loretta, who's next up on the Mountain Dancing Folk Festival stage?
Woo, thank y'all. Take care.
I said nice things about you, Stuart. I mean, really. Acoustic Sound Productions. That's Buncombe Turnpike. We're coming to the end and want to call out our Stoney Creek Boys and get smiling George Banks out there, Lawrence Dillingham, Boyd Black, and Miss Jenkins back here. But we're getting ready to close things up with our grand finale. We got a lot of pickers that's going to come out. My friend, my co-MC tonight, Mr. Richard Hurley, don't he look sharp in that white jacket? Did an outstanding job for us. So I got pickers and singers and dancers. Come on up and help us close out the night tonight. I want to say a huge thank you to every member of the Folk Heritage Committee. I know you work yourselves all year long getting ready for this weekend and throw in 8 Shindig on the Greens that you're responsible for throughout the summer. So appreciate all the work that the Folk Heritage Committee does. And listen, there's opportunities for you to volunteer and be a part of what we've got going on and keep up with what's going on. Go to folkheritage.org, check out that website, and make sure you're lined up with us for next Saturday night and our final shindig on the green of the season. But ain't no way in the world I know all the names down through there. Put your hands together and make welcome our pickers and our singers for our grand finale tonight for the 95th Annual Mountain Dance and Folk Festival. And a group of people that I've neglected to thank, and that is you for coming out and supporting this music and dance. And I know had a great Saturday night. We thank you for being such a wonderful, wonderful audience. Have a safe ride home, and we'll look forward to seeing you in 2023. We're getting close to 100. Next year will be the 96th Annual Mountain Dance and Folk Festival. Look forward to seeing you then. Good night, everybody.